Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. Today we're going to be talking about a forgotten hero, or at least at one point was thought to be. Logan Bruss from the 2022 draft class was drafted in the third round, 104th overall. We're going to talk about Bruss, my thoughts going into 2024, if he can put together a career with the Rams or if this is it. Before we dive into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan. Let's dive into it. So, Logan Bruss, the 25-year-old tackle, is 6'5". He's 317 pounds. He has an RAS score of 8.76. He was 93rd percentile in broad jump, 89th percentile shuttle, 88th percentile vertical, 87th percentile 10-yard split, and an 83rd percentile three-cone, making him a interesting prospect here, an athletic prospect, a guy that, you know, I think a lot of teams saw as a guard coming out of Wisconsin. And, you know, in college, he only gave up 1 sack and 30 pressures in 811 pass protection snaps, only 5 penalties. He's a stout run blocker at Wisconsin, showed up on film in a big way. And he had an incredible 98.1 pass protection efficiency rating, which is very, very good. Anything really in the 97s or higher is going to be considered really good. He played 1,574 snaps at right tackle, 375 at right guard, and 12 at left tackle. Okay, so just right off the bat, Logan Bruss is essentially somebody coming out of the draft that was supposed to be a game changer. He was supposed to be a starter. He was supposed to be somebody that could plug and play right away at guard, probably right guard, since that was the one he played the most at as far as the 2 guard spots. But that is not what happened now, did it? Of course not, because we know the story. Rams moved Bruss to guard, even though he was better at tackle. They select him in the 3rd round, like I previously mentioned. Bruss ends up tearing his ACL in preseason, and he really just hasn't been able to get his career going at any point since. So, what did Bruss do in the preseason? Well, I want to take a look at this because in 2022, he played pretty much all at right guard, right? That's where they wanted him to play. That's where they wanted to develop him. They moved his position to guard, and that is predominantly where he played in the 2022 preseason. Now, he did not look very good at right guard. He really struggled in pass protection and wasn't even the guy that they expected in the run game. That was before he tore his ACL. That would end his rookie season abruptly, and unfortunately, he would now spend the whole off season, the whole regular season essentially, while he could have been getting better and learning the ropes. Instead, now he's spending it recovering. So when people ask, what happened to Logan Bruss? Where did he go? I'm not going to lie. I don't think we give enough credit or, you know, I guess infamy towards his injury. I mean, I do think, like, really, I think the injury hurt him, but I also think Logan Bruss was playing the wrong position. He was supposed to be a tackle. He never should have switched. He's been more confident at tackle. And so thinking about it like that, you have a guy that you're moving out of position. You have a guy that you're moving out of position that you need to essentially learn the game at the NFL level. And you have a guy who needs to learn the game at the NFL level at a new position that tears his ACL in his first year. So he can't spend that time getting better at that position. No. He is focusing all his time on rehabbing said injury so he can get back next year. And then they find out the next year, yeah, you're right. You're probably a tackle. So they move him to tackle, right? In preseason, he has 3 sacks and 10 pressures given up in 93 snaps. But again, I want to be fair to him. I think he's a much better tackle than a guard. I think he showed that 2023 preseason. I thought he looked pretty decent. I wasn't blown away by him. He didn't look like a 3rd round pick, but he looked all right, you know. 2022, he did not look all right at all. And it is important to remember that if these guys stand out, that is a testament to them. But I'm not really expecting anybody on the offensive line to stand out when you're playing with a bunch of 3rd string offensive linemen. So that is the reality there. Now, I will say He's started to make progress at tackle. I was concerned for him that he didn't get the nod when Rob Havenstein went down, and instead it was Warren McClendon Jr. Could mean that Logan Bruss isn't valued in that way, and he's looked at as more of a developmental guy and not really even close to being a backup, which is a little concerning for him because he was drafted to be an answer, and plug up a literal position of need at guard for the Rams. And now it seems like he's just a guy that, maybe if he figures it out, he could be good, but the Rams don't value him anymore as the third-round pick that he once was. And so I think the question remains here, can he carve out a role on this 2024 roster? And furthermore, is this do or die for Logan Bruss? Is this his career that we're looking at? Is this his time with the Rams we're looking at? He was cut last year and brought back onto the practice squad. So I do think ultimately he is looking at another practice squad stint. I don't think many teams are going to be willing to pluck him off of waivers. He has not proven anything. He's never taken an NFL snap in the regular season. And of course, like we mentioned, yes, okay, he has some upside and he was drafted in 2022 for a reason. At the same time, ACL tear. Only the Rams really know anything about him, has not played a regular season game, has barely played in the preseason, and just found out that he is mainly a tackle, so he doesn't have that guard tackle flexibility and versatility that other teams might be looking for. So with that said, I think in 2024, Logan Bruss is going to spend his entirety on the practice squad. I don't think he's going to make the team. I think it was very telling. They went out and they added 3 offensive linemen. They went out and got Connor McDermott. They went out and they got Matt Caskey. And of course, they added Alec Lindstrom. Now, 2 of those 3 are tackles. Logan Bruss is a tackle. Why are they signing 2 more tackles? Could be because there's multiple injuries. KT Leviston, who's been, on the unofficial depth chart at left tackle. He got banged up. And then, of course, we talk about Warren McClendon earlier. He got banged up as well. So if Logan Bruss, say Warren McClendon is out, I don't know how injured he is. He kept playing and whatnot. But let's just say he's out. Is Logan Bruss playing right tackle after that? Is he the third guy? Because if he's not even the third string guy at right tackle, then I don't really see any path to making this team. I do think the Rams are willing to go slow with him because they have a lot of options that they trust, but they also don't want to just give up on Logan Bruss's talent and his athleticism and his overall profile, because if they were to figure anything out with him, he could end up being a starter down the road and pretty affordable since he hasn't really proven anything. So in conclusion, Logan Bruss is a player that we see more often than we realize. A guy drafted in the 3rd round, has a big name for the time being because everyone knows he was picked in the 3rd round, which, by the way, is day 2 of the draft. And I think just unfortunately injuries and just, getting off to a slow start has pushed him behind the 8 ball. And now you have guys like Warren McClendon Jr. who were drafted 2 rounds after the 3rd round. And he's getting, the priority there. And I think this is only going to get worse over time because he was the 2022 pick. You have the 2023 class. You have the 2024 class this year. You're going to have the 2025 class. So in conclusion, I don't really expect Bruss to do much, this year. I'm not out on him, though. And I want to make that clear. I think for him, the Rams know they are not going to lose him in waivers. So why take him on a roster spot and give up a guy that you'd be more likely to have claimed from another team as opposed to offensive line, where we're actually seeing around the league now? It's not to say it never happens, but it's very unlikely now that you're going to have an offensive lineman claimed off of waivers by another team. A lot of these teams like keeping guys in-house. They like developing, especially with the offensive linemen. And so I don't think we're going to see that. And so with that said, if you know or you feel confident enough to know that Logan Bruss is almost a guarantee to be back in the practice squad, why would you put him on the 53-man roster and risk losing somebody else who obviously is probably a bigger key contributor because they can help right away? And that's how I look at it. So I don't expect Bruss to make a huge impact in 2024. He is somebody to keep an eye on in preseason. I am looking forward to seeing him. Hopefully, he has taken some steps forward. But either way, I think the Rams are in a good spot offensively. On the offensive line, they are banged up a little bit, but nobody has been ruled out for week 1. So I think if you look at it from a perspective of, say, everybody's healthy, if you look at everybody in this room, this offensive line room, the Rams have a very good offensive line room. And Logan Bruss, if he ever amounts to anything, is only just going to add on to that. So that's where I am on him. Hopefully he figures it out. I'd love to see him have a great preseason and really emerge and maybe even push for a role. But currently, I feel more confident in saying Zach Thomas makes the roster. Feel more confident in the rookies, Bo Limmer and KT Leviston. I currently feel more confident in Connor McDermott, who was just signed, and Matt Caskey, who played as essentially was rated the #1 offensive tackle according to PFF in the UFL. So having him, just played, and Alec Lindstrom just played, those guys I think ultimately are going to, they could push Bruss off this roster. But again, that's what the practice squad's for. So what are your thoughts on Logan Bruss? Do you think he's eventually going to come into his own, or do you think this is kind of at the end of the road for him? Do you think he makes the team? Do you not? Let me know in the comment section below. But I'm Jake Ellenbogen. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, folks. Later. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.